Hello, and welcome to RuPaul's Drag Race Rejudged, and today I'm talking about the favoritism of Jimbo on All-Stars 8. The general consensus of the fanbase is that All-Stars 8 was rigged for Jimbo. While I don't inherently disagree, today I will be going placement by placement to determine exactly how rigged the season was. Afterwards, I will be talking about factors other than specific judging that could contribute to the season being rigged. Episode 1 is the Girl Groups Challenge, and Jimbo blew me away. Her fashion show looks and runway were incredible. She knocked it out of the park. That's kind of expected out of Jimbo though. What blew me away was her girl groups performance. This was not the best performance we've ever seen. It was pretty middle of the road, but it's Jimbo being middle of the road in a performance challenge. Based off the 3 prior lip syncs, her previous girl groups, and her previous Rusical, I did not expect this out of Jimbo. Jimbo gave a legitimately passable performance in terms of dancing, and her verse was good. It wasn't the best thing ever, so she's safe, and I think that's fair. Episode 2 is the acting challenge, and this is where a lot of people started to think the season was being rigged. I disagree though. Jimbo did well. It wasn't just that Jimbo did well in the challenge though. Any comedy queen could do well in an SNL parody. What Jimbo did was strategically well. RuPaul told her, word for word, exactly what she needed to do to win this challenge. It happens very often that RuPaul will tell a queen exactly what needs to be done. Jimbo was able to notice that, do exactly what needed to be done, and slay the runway. While she did not slay the lip sync, I believe this win is fair. This is the main one I see a lot of people disagreeing with, but I think this is pretty well deserved. She had a goal, and she executed it perfectly. Episode 3 is the ball. This is where, in my opinion, it becomes pretty clear that Jimbo is being favored. This is not a bad performance by any means. Is it a high performance? No. It's not. Her fruity patootie look is a very interesting concept, but at least for me, there is a bit too much going on. Her final look is fine. I can appreciate the skill and construction that went into making this, but that does not a good look make. I do not like the hair with this. I don't really like the makeup, and I don't like the fit of the outfit. It honestly kinda seemed like she ran out of materials in parts of it and just kinda threw whatever she had together. While it took a lot of technical skill to make this, I didn't get the concept she was going for. Most people had a very specific theme and material they were going for. I didn't see that kind of theme from Jimbo outside of, oh, green materials, and oh, purple materials. Let's combine it. Episode 4 is the second acting challenge. It is the TV pilots. This one, I think I agree with. I'm not 100% sure though. Jimbo, along with Jessica and Candy, were the clear best. While I think that Heidi and Lala had great individual performances, their group was ever so slightly weaker due to Kahana. The Jimbo, Jessica, Candy team did deserve to win. Of those 3, Jimbo definitely deserved the win. My only issue with this judging, did it need to be in teams? I absolutely get why they did it like that, and it had been an All-Stars tradition to judge this type of challenge in teams. I just don't know if it was necessary. If you are judging in teams, Jimbo wins. If you are judging individually, I might give it to Heidi, but ultimately, I think this is still pretty fair. Episode 5 is the Snatch Game. Jimbo knocked it out of the park. This is one of Jimbo's placements that I have never seen debated. No one is arguing that Alexis or James should have won this. Jimbo went absolutely insane. She was giving it 110% energy the entire time. Her challenge performance was very good, best of the week. Her runway, wow. This was crazy, great job, very good concept, very well executed, well-deserved win. So far, Jimbo's placements have been generally fair, but it's not until the later part of the season that favoritism really starts to take root. Episode 6 is Joan Therusical. This one is difficult. Jessica, Alexis, Candy, and Lala knocked this challenge out of the park. That leaves us with Kahana, James, and Jimbo. Of those 3, Kahana did good in the challenge and good on the runway. James did good in the challenge and bad on the runway. Jimbo did okay in the challenge and good on the runway. With that in mind, judges put Jimbo as safe with Kahana and James as the bottom two. I don't really agree with that. Number one, first and foremost, this should have been a non-elimination, but if we are doing a bottom two, it's Jimbo and James. James did a good job in the Rusical, it's just that pretty much everyone else did great. As for Jimbo was not given a chance to succeed here. I know that might be a hot take, but go back and watch Jimbo's part in this Rusical. What more could she have done? She was given choreo. She nailed the choreo, it just wasn't enough. I will not argue that Jimbo shouldn't have been in the bottom, but this should not have been an elimination. Jimbo and James, who were the worst two in the challenge, didn't even do that bad. If we are judging it with an elimination every week, yes, Jimbo's in the bottom. But that shouldn't be how we're judging it. Episode 7 is the Improv challenge. I don't really have much to say. She did a good job. She was high. I think this is fair. Episode 8 is the design challenge. Jimbo is, this... I'm still at a loss for words. This episode aired like 8 months ago, and I still don't know what I'm looking at. It was a very good job. It required a lot of technical skill, and that is something Jimbo has a lot of. I don't think she should have been in the top. This was very much Alexis's week. Still, very good job. Jimbo yet again deserves to be high. Episode 9 is the roast. Jimbo knocks it out of the park. Great job. She deserved the challenge win, and she deserved the lip sync win. My issues with this episode come not in Jimbo's placement, but in Jessica's. The if you are not in the top, you're in the bottom twist only serves to screw over certain queens. Jessica Wilde is a perfect example of this. She gave a clearly superior performance to both Candy and Alexis, yet placed in the bottom with them. I find the timing of this twist being introduced very suspicious. In the past, it had started at Final 5. If you're not in the top, you're in the bottom. That is unfair, but it would at least be consistent. For some reason, though, production waits until Jimbo would not be up for elimination to implement this twist. Is that inherently rigged? No. Did it screw over Jimbo's biggest competition, Jessica? Absolutely. Episode 10 is the Makeover. It is ridiculous that we are doing this. We should not be having a Final 3 challenge. That said, Jimbo's placement was fair. Taking a look at Jimbo's track record, the two track records diverge on episode 3, they never meet back up. On the original season, Jimbo finishes out with a score of 3.9, and on the fair track record, where she's in the bottom that extra time, she finishes out with a score of 3.6. This is not enough to cost her the season, but it is enough for me to say yes, All Stars 8 was rigged for Jimbo. Now, for the other question that gets brought up a lot when talking about was the season rigged, was the casting rigged? I would say no. A lot of people would disagree. They would say the cast is made up of a lot of early outs and weaker competitors, and yes, that is fair. This was not inherently rigged for Jimbo. Jessica Wilde slayed season 2. Every week prior to her elimination, she could have been top 3. Next up is Heidi. Heidi did a okay job on her season. She did have her struggles, but it was very clear that the skills were there, she just needed a bit more money. As for Lala, we saw the exact same thing, incredible personality, the skills were just not there yet. Based off all of this, I don't think the casting was inherently rigged for Jimbo. It was definitely set up in a way that would benefit Jimbo, but what I see a lot of is people saying this season was rigged from the start. I don't think it was. There were a lot of people that legitimately could have won if they had just performed slightly better, stuck around another week. While the casting put Jimbo as the clear favorite to win, I am not willing to say the cast was chosen specifically to get Jimbo the win. It helped her, but it was not the sole reason behind it. Jimbo did slay this season. If you translate her performance to most other seasons, she would have won. Hey, it's Drag Race Rejudged. Do you want gay shit Well then check out the RuPaul's Drag Race Rejudged YouTube channel and hit subscribe.